These patterns, does that mean I'm blaming people for getting sick? Well, no, I'm not. Because these patterns are not conscious, they're not deliberate. Let me give you a personal example. So, when I was 54, I was visiting my mother in a nursing home. My mother was 78 at the time. She was in a nursing home because she had muscular dystrophy, a genetic disease that runs in our family. And so she could no longer move. She could barely lift her arms to feed herself. Mentally, she was quite with it. So she's in this nursing home. And that afternoon, I have a bit of a limp as I walked down the hall of the nursing home. Now, why do I have a limp? I have a limp because that morning I had arthroscopic surgery, which, as you know, is minimally invasive surgery. They make a small hole, they look in with a small camera, they cut out the torn cartilage, which I incurred because I used to jog on cement and ignored the pain typically, until finally I tore a cartilage. I missed that lecture in medical school where they talked about pain and tissue damage, so I wasn't aware that there's a connection. So you know, the surgery is minimal, and you walk out of the hospital. So that afternoon, I do have a bit of a limp. Now, as soon as I open my mother's door, my limp disappears. I walk into her room perfectly normally, and I walk out the same way until I shut the door behind me, and then I start limping down the hall again. And what do you think I was doing? Why do you suppose I was doing that? Protecting her from what? From worrying about my pain. Now, here's the deal. My mother was 78. We're Jewish and from Hungary, and my mother had survived the genocide, the death of her parents in Auschwitz, communist dictatorship, the Hungarian Revolution of 1956, emigration to North America with two adolescent boys, and the birth of a child here when she was nearly 40 years old. Life in a new country, a new culture, all the travails of immigration and so on, the death of my father. She was a very strong woman. Do you think she needed to be protected from the fact that her middle-aged son has a bit of a limp on the afternoon of arthroscopic surgery?